What is going on, guys? IFBB Pro Gym with Tonk here and Conti Sports Athlete. Today you're going to be following me for a full day meeting and a little bit of training, so let's cut to it. So meal one, we are in for 100 grams of smoked salmon, 2 whole eggs, 20 grams of dark chocolate, 150 grams of sourdough bread, 20 grams of whey and 100 grams of cream rice. So I'm currently in my recovery phase after my post-show. I think I am 10, 11 weeks post-show. And my food is pretty high at the minute, but it's going to get higher. I'm at that stage where I'm still hungry before every meal. I'm still hungry after every meal, but I'm not starving, which is nice. In bodybuilding, you have a period where you're either starving or you're either full, so you're so full that you feel sick, and you have this little golden period in the middle where you just feel okay, and that's where I am now. So, and to be fair, I like all the foods on my diet, which is nice. This way, I also fried my smoked salmon. I mean, I don't know if this is a thing. Apparently it's not, but this is just like bacon to me. I'm not a sushi fan, I don't eat raw fish, so I tried it raw, I tried it cooked, and to me this is just like salmon bacon. So, each their own. I've said this 100 times before, but cream of rice we always do 4 times the amount of water to powder, so there's 100 grams there, and we'll do 400 ml of water ish. And now people can't get cream of rice right, and I don't understand why not, because it is as simple as just whisking it in. So it's as simple as cream of rice, bowl, and that's done. To that I will add 20 grams of whey isolate, and then just mix that in there. You can do it as a paste. I do it as a paste on my other meal, but just to get this breakfast in. And then 20 grams of dark chocolate in. I only 85% dark chocolate. I'm not man enough to go 90 yet. We've also got 100 grams of berries with this as well. So I have fruit with pretty much every meal. I always prefer my fruit frozen. I'm not a fan of fresh fruit for some reason. That just tastes like a little dessert. So we have a main, a dessert, and a dessert. Possibly the driest breakfast you've ever seen, but I actually love this meal. Salt wise at the minute, I'm up to, well, I'm at around 8 grams of salt. I usually have 10 grams of salt a day. Because my food has to go so high, if I eat anything less at the minute today will be about 950 grams of carbs. If I eat anything less, I lose weight. But so to keep me holding my weight at this, we've put the carbs up really fast. But what's happened is I get edema because I was going from a lean state and then eating a lot of carbs, which means I'm watering, my ankles are swollen and stuff like that, so my salt had to be reduced to try and lose a little bit of water. I'm not quite back up to 10 grams yet, but at 8, so that's around 8 or 9 twists on this meal. Okay, so just an intro to me as a relatively new Conti Sports athlete. IFBB Pro Gym with Tonk, like I said, recently just won my pro card on my last showing, which was 8-10 weeks ago. after a long 2 years of chasing it, the pursuit of the pro card was pretty relentless, to be honest with you. I think I did 5 overalls where I came second for the pro card. Every single time I was close. So it was quite demoralising every time having to go back on prep and get there, trying to get to that accolade again. Finally on the last one, it was the last show I was going to do of the season. I managed to get it, which was nice. So at the minute now, it's a case of trying to be pro ready, which means my physique. For me personally, in the classic physique ranks, I need to be much bigger with more muscle. My weight cap now is 240 on stage for a classic physique athlete. I compete at 210, which leaves me 30 pounds of tissue to add. That's going to take me a long time. So at the minute I've entered an off season, I'm thinking it's going to be around 18 months, which is nice, because after 2-3 years of competing on the bounce, it's nice to have that break, which means I can focus on business as well, and also helping the brand continue to move forward. So me and Jack have spoke about in depth is that the brand is looking to expand exponentially, and one thing it needs is good athletes behind it, and that's what I'm all about, just getting behind the brand and moving forward and getting into the industry and trying to fill any gaps that we feel are there as well. So that's what we're going to do for the future. So unfortunately, being an IFBB pro possibly isn't as glamorous as you think it is. So right now, meal number 1 done. I'll sit at the desk for a couple of hours and work, and then we'll come back for meal number 2. That is the best almond butter you can get, and I'm going to be a bit on words here, because when you buy this almond butter, it is like water, but it's actually not at the minute because I'm right at the bottom of the tub. But normally, like, the almond butter comes out really stiff, doesn't it? With that, you can just spread it all over. Sainsbury's.
So obviously, is there anything specific you look for in your pre-workout meal that you
Just higher carbs, really. We've still got some fats from almond butter there. Just nothing that's going to sit heavy. So cream of rice is going to be in there nice and fast, especially with the way I can digest it really well. And small amount of fats to hold it off, just because the next time I'm going to eat a meal will be a good while yet. So the whey paste. So this is what I was talking about earlier on with meal 1. Sometimes I have it just putting it in, and then sometimes I have a paste. This is a bit thin actually. I've knackered it a little bit, but
got to redo it for camera, mate.
It's do you know what? There would have been a time where I would have redone this 3-4 times until it was right, but we're not in prep anymore, so we're alright. That's not too bad. Yeah, so I've got 100 carbs in here through cream of rice, 60 grams of whey isolate, 20 grams of almond butter, and 200 grams of berries, or raspberries again. Raspberries are my favourite, or strawberries. But at the minute, I don't know why, for some reason at the minute, hard to get fruit in supermarkets. Frozen fruit. Right, okay, so after a very exciting morning, I know you're all tired. No, pre and post workout time now, so getting ready to go to the gym. I'll eat my post workout pretty much straight after I train, which will be cereal, bagel, whey and jam. I'll talk about that a little bit more when I'm there. Obviously just had the pre-workout meal, and then pre and intra workout, Jack has actually just sent me out some stuff. I was running low, so I asked him to get me some, which will be goodie bag. So intra workout, I will have this, and then halfway through the workout, in about 2 hours time, 2.5 hours time, I have the essential gains. So the reason why I have this after is, it doesn't really make sense in the mechanism of triggering MPS to drink an EAA throughout a session for a prolonged period of time. So what we're trying to do is trigger muscle protein synthesis as many times in the day as possible. So because I've had my pre-workout meal now, I've had over 2 grams of leucine amino acids, I've triggered it there. And then just to start drinking this in the next hour and a half, it makes no sense. So I'll wait another 2-3 hours, which will be during training, and then I'll have this in a wanna, a big hit of that. It's got 3 grams of leucine per 15.5 gram serving. I'll have 20 grams of that, so it's gonna have enough leucine there to trigger that mechanism. I have 50 grams of carbs through this, which is 63 grams of carbs, I believe, 63 grams in weight of that. And because it's leg day today, we'll go pineapple conviction. And we'll go grape mega pump. And because it is leg day, I've actually leveled myself up to be able to take two scoops of this now, which is pretty impressive, I think. Even though it's got 350 mg of caffeine, so that's nearly 700 mg of caffeine there per serving that I have on a daily basis. But I don't have any caffeine at any other point in the day, just here, and no caffeine on rest day, so that's not too bad. On a leg day, I will only have 1 scoop, because too much pre-workout on leg day, you're going to be sick. If you're training right, you have too much pre-workout on leg day, and you're not sick, then you're not training hard enough. So 1 of that today, and obviously always 2 for the pump. See if we can get the quads nice and pumped up today. And then that is pretty interesting. Also a good point to add is that the carb drive already has salt in it. So it's already got pink Himalayan salt, 500 gram per like 31 gram of serving, which is really good. So if you're counting your salt in the day, make sure that you count it within this. Otherwise you're going to be going over. Not that it'll matter that amount, but if say you're in prep or something and you're tracking your salt to the gram, obviously just be aware that that's in there. A really good addition to have as well. Okay guys, so arrived at the gym like you've seen. This is my time in the day where there's no concept of time basically. Take my time in here, sit down with the lads once a day, have a good chat. So we're in for legs today like I've mentioned. It's going to be a cracking session. We're in 4 weeks into this mesocycle now, so everything's really bumping up in terms of weight intensity, like you've seen as well so far. That food's in a decent place, so we've all got plenty of energy. We've got Haran as well, who we're training with, who's another Conti Sports athlete. Big Nate Styles as well, who's flying, ready for the beginning of his off season. Shall we keep that in? Shall we keep that bit in?
Yeah.
Keep this bit in. But no, so Big Nate Styles as well, who's flying at the beginning of his off season, so it's going to be a good session, lads. Guys, going to be a good session, guys.
Get to it.
Let's get to it. So, the beginning of the session, for me right now, mobility is key and most important. When we're going to be growing a lot, so going from 210 pound stage weight, looking up to get towards 300 pound. The first push will be 280. I'm currently 260, so there's already 50 pound of weight gain on there. Keeping mobile is super important because it allows us to be able to do the exercises properly with full range of motion. So this morning before you saw me on meal 1, I'd already walked to the gym, done mobility, done cardio, walked back, walked to the gym again, do mobility now pre-session, and make sure that when the session is in full flow, that everything's feeling good. If it's not feeling good, then there's an issue there mobility wise, and we need to address it further. So right now, touch wood, everything's feeling good. So as you'll be able to tell, like, we've got a lot of mobility drills at the beginning, and that's the reason why.
This is the essential gains EAA what I was speaking about. This is the what we call half time. So halfway through every workout we stop. We have the EAs for the reasons what I mentioned earlier. Recoup and then go again. Try not to burn out too fast through the session, and it actually works, to be honest with you. Our style of training when we're in the sets at the minute, it's hopefully you can see it's a very intense 100%. Between the sets we take our time. There's no need for us to rush. In order for us to keep the standard up throughout the session, we need to take our time. If we go in there too fast, too intense throughout the whole session, within 45 minutes we'll all be burnt out. These sessions can be 2 hours long sometimes, so it's important we pace ourselves.
Right, so post-workout meal, ideally as soon as you feel like you can eat it after the session. I'm still hungry at the minute, so I can eat it straight away. In here I've got 175 grams of carbs through cereal. Ideally the cereal that you use wants to be less than 3 grams of fat per 100 grams. The idea of having cereal post-workout is something that's fast absorbing, ideally rice-based. So when you see people having Crave or Crunchy Nut, which is a high-fat cereal, it's a waste of time. That you're missing the point in why we're eating the cereal. It does taste nice. You get a lot of carbs in a small amount. There's 265 grams of cereal there. Now that's 175 grams of carbs, and I'm still using bran flakes because it's light and I can have more. I'm still greedy. 60 grams of whey isolate, 1 bagel and 30 grams of jam. This meal I believe has 250 grams of carbs in it. So it's a lot of carbohydrates in one hit, but after a session like that it's needed, and at the minute body composition is still good, so I can get away with it. When digestion gets a little bit worse, there'll be a time where we maybe have to stretch these carbs away from the workout, but we'll see. But now it's going down well, so I'll have this, and depending on how I feel, usually just before 2 hours later I'll eat my next meal. So I'll catch you then.
It's a very methodical jam placement.
Well, it has to be, because the distribution of jam is important. If you have one bagel that's more jammy than the other, and you eat the jammy bagel first, you're disappointed when you come to the less jammy bagel. Is that a thing? To be fair, I think it's just my nature to be quite precise with everything, and it's not something I realised I was like until recently, to be honest with you, until people started pointing it out.
Started getting on the street. That's an abnormal, way of putting jam on a bagel.
Or just that's an abnormal way to live. Like, why do you keep your kettle in a cupboard along with a toaster and a microwave? I've got a microwave in a cupboard. So that session done, guys. I've walked back from the gym. The gym from me all the time, it doesn't move, it's actually 1,500 steps, believe it or not, which is like 10-15 minute walk. So like I mentioned in the gym, I walk to the gym in the morning, do cardio, walk back, and then I walk to the gym and then walk back. With me being really sedentary, we've just been on the computer all day, I don't get a lot of steps. Now it's really important that I keep my energy expenditure up, not really for the point of putting energy out, but just so digestion is good. As an individual that needs a lot of food, so at the minute this is rock bottom food for me. It's only going to get more, so I have to be on point with moving, otherwise my digestion will just block up and I won't be able to eat as much food as I need to. I'm going to get my meal, what we are now, we've had 3 meals, so meal 4 in, and I'll show you that in a minute. Oh, I need to sit up, I can't sit up.
Legs too hard.
It's just dead legs. Right, meal 4. We have in there 125 grams of jasmine rice, 200 grams of 5% lean mince. So 100 carb, again, to be eaten with 20 grams of walnuts and 150 grams of pineapple. So when I was in prep and I had walnuts, they tasted like creamy sweets. Now when off season, they just taste like mud.
Is there a particular thought process between the micronutrients you get from like certain fruits and fat sources that you consume?
Not particularly, to be honest with you. Things like berries are low in calories and you get a lot of volume out of it. So 150 raspberries, low in calories, but it keeps you satiated. Now to a lot of people it may even be a lot of food this, but eating is like training. So you get a lot of people who say they haven't got a big appetite. Well, it's just, you need to train your appetite just like you train, because if you don't have a big appetite, you can't eat, you can't grow. This is just like every single year you train yourself to get better at eating. It's part and parcel of bodybuilding. But with fat sauces, really, it's just anything I like. So I kept walnuts in my plan because in prep I loved walnuts. They're a good fat sauce. And to be honest with you, right now they're okay, but they just obviously don't taste as good as they did in prep. I like a lot of red meat, it sits well with me. So even though I've got 1 portion a day now, I have 2 portions on my rest day. And my rest day food actually is exactly the same as this. My post-workout meal is just swapped for burgers and chips. I call them burgers and chips. But there's no real thought process apart from the foods that I eat, I enjoy, I can digest well, and I know that they sit well with me. Because it's, again, I'm banging on about digestion, but it's so important that, especially at this phase in off-season, I'm able to carry on with good digestion. If my digestion's knackered now at the beginning, you just can't add food. You feel crap, your body's not responsive, you can't partition nutrients as good. So it's really important that from the get-go you're eating foods that you like, not only because you like them, but you know that you can digest them as well. So there is a little bit of a trade-off sometimes. We would like to eat chocolate cake every meal, but it's not possible. So this diet actually is my favourite diet that I've had in a long time. Last year I pretty much ate fish and rice. It was necessary to a point, but this year I promised myself that I wasn't going to be the guy who just ate plain fish and rice 6-7 times a day. And so far it just doesn't even feel like dieting to me. And I'll happily be able to eat this diet. It's got so much room for growth. Like the rice portions now are 125. I can easily get them to like 180 without any digestive problems. Again, cream of rice can go up to 200 grams. The post-workout meal really can't go any bigger. I can eat it, but you can't really consume more than 250 grams of carbs and use them, no matter how hard you're training, especially when I'm only 260 pound guy at the minute. So as long as you can enjoy your diet, you can digest it, you're getting the right micronutrients, the macronutrients for you that you've worked out or your coach has worked out, that is literally all there is to it. It's as simple as that. I'm making Ed's job really hard today to make a good video out of me basically moving from there to here and eating.
But you look good whilst you do it.
Oh good, that's fine.
Generally speaking, all the years I've trained, I've managed to be able to do a bit more volume. And And another thing is, just to give you a heads up.
Pre-prepared. It's only today really that I realise how organised I am. No, to be honest with you, I do normally cook my meals fresh, or I have been for a long time. So I would batch cook rice, but I would cook all my meat fresh, so my salmon, my mince. But it's just been taking so long to cook things, wash things up, and by the time I get back to work, it's probably took me 40 minutes to just eat one meal. Whereas time isn't a luxury that I have right now, so just for the compromising taste and texture, only a little bit. I've just been, well actually Jade has been cooking all my meals, and then I just warm them up, simple as that. But cold salmon warmed up's not great, I'm not gonna lie. And I actually just use full fat salmon as well. It's not Atlantic or wild salmon, just because I can't always get it. Ideally Atlantic or wild salmon, because a farm salmon like this, to be honest with you, it's just spent its life swimming around in its own feces really. So it's not making the best tasting salmon. It makes the best tasting salmon because of all the fat in it, but if we're talking about quality of products, they're not actually the best to eat. But it tastes good, so once a day I can deal with that. This is what meal number 5. This, and I've got one more which will be oats. So I have carbs in every single meal. Like a bang on about, I do like the diet, but there's just something about having a big bowl of oats before you go to bed. It makes you sleep really good. So that goes in there, and then as far as eating salmon goes, we'll take that.
Gordon Ramsay could never reheat it so well.
Well, do you know what? I actually do like cooking. I can never cook anything, just because I stick quite rigidly to plan. When I was in prep, I thought, right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy this, I'm going to buy that. I'm going to do some like cookery, make some things anyway. And so far nothing's been made. Baking. I was heavily into baking programs, like heavily. Anything on Netflix that had baking on it, I've watched it.
Love a bit of Mary Mary.
Yeah, she's alright. She's not as good as the Americans, because she doesn't put as much sugar in it. And that's what I was all about in prep. Like, how much frosting can you get on a cupcake? like genuinely.
Starts googling how much frosting in one serving will kill you.
Yeah. I went through focus. You'll notice as well the lack of vegetables in this diet, which if you follow me on YouTube or you follow me on any platform before, you'll know that it's just something I just struggle to digest. I did start putting courgette in, which sat well for maybe about 10 days, and then it just bloats me massively, and especially when food gets super high, a couple of thousand calories or so, then that added volume is just not good. So the fruit helps because I can digest that fine, and then I'll just have a greens powder as well in the morning. On cue, Great British Bake Off. So by this point I've had enough of bodybuilding for the day. I've watched bodybuilding programs all day, I've eaten bodybuilding meals, I've done client check-ins till they're coming out my ears, and I've trained bodybuilding, so now we get a little bit of baking on. Chill out. Oh, bloody hell. Greedy. Right guys, so this is 6th and final meal. 150 fruit for raspberries, 20 grams of dark chocolate, 60 grams of whey, and 150 oats. So I aren't going to cook this because I'm going to let Ed get off as it's getting late, and there's no need for him to stay for some 2 more hours to watch me pour hot water in a bowl. So I just cook these by putting the kettle on and give them a whisk, put the powder in, dark chocolate on, microwave them so they'll go a little bit stiff. And that's that. And then generally, depending on the day, I'll try and wait as long as I can before I go to bed. So it's usually like an hour. It's a little bit late tonight, so I'll probably go to bed a little bit sooner. I've got some physio early in the morning, so I need to make sure I'm in bed and get enough sleep for that. But that is the day in the life of myself. So IFBB Pro Classic Physique, not very glamorous, but what it does, it allows me to bodybuild efficiently. So me having a job where I don't have to move and expend too much energy, I can choose my steps. So walking to the gym and back, I can make sure that my expenditure on the days is the same across the week, and it allows me to eat when I need to eat, and all the energy I'm reserving by sat down and just working and not lifting heavy materials about like maybe someone who's on a building site. It allows me to train optimally, and that's what I'm going to need this off season. So 18 months from here, hopefully I've added 15 to 20 pound of extra tissue in the areas I need. Next time I step on stage, there's going to be a few more episodes in this series of me, I'm sure, possibly a little bit more training. We'll try and get out and do something a little bit different than just sitting and eating next time. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you soon.